Welcome back over to Automotive World, everyone. I am your host, Vinny Mystery. We are back again. We just finished up with the Hyundai sales figures numbers. We are now heading over to Kia, and like I said, being, the sister company, it's December 3rd. We've got numbers, and just like Hyundai is thriving, so is Kia. Let's get into these numbers. Let's analyze them, because let me tell you something. We have some really, really strong numbers. Just as I predicted, like I said, every time we do these sales videos, Kia and Hyundai are always killing it. Unlike other automakers when it's just one or two, maybe three models if they're lucky that are selling, for the most part, Kia and Hyundai, every single model is selling. So let's get right into this because we've got the electrified lineup. We've got the whole lineup here. Demand for Kia. Best ever sales in company history in the month of November this year. Kia records November sales increased 20% over 2023, marking the best ever November sales total in company history. Makes a lot of sense with Hyundai being the sister brand. Like I said, I'm never surprised on this. The all-time best any month total sales ever for the Telluride SUV. The Telluride SUV, this thing's popular. Let me tell you something. SUVs right now are popular. If you go outside right now, go to your local grocery store or something, let me tell you something. You're going to see one of four SUVs. You're going to see more than four, but you're going to see one of these four SUVs in the parking lot, probably even all four. You're going to see a Telluride, you're going to see a CX-5, you're going to see an Atlas, and a Tiguan. The Telluride, though, let me tell you something. Kia has knocked it out of the park with this model. Best ever November Kia utility and electrified offerings. Best ever month of November for it. November sales totaling 70,107 units. That's a 20% increase over 2023, surpassing 70,000 sales in a single November for the first time. So this is huge. First time that Kia has sold over 70,000 units. Really, really big. Highlighted by record-breaking month for the Telluride. And it's popular. It's a good SUV. It looks good. It's got the V6. You can tow with it a little bit. It's a nice SUV. Don't get me wrong. We look at the numbers here. Kia SUV models, the electrified vehicles, they experience significant growth. Increases of 38 and 45% respectively. This is not just a fad. This isn't just like short term. This is substantial, proven, long-term growth that we're seeing with Kia and Hyundai. We look at it here, highest sales ever recorded for November. The Carnival, the MPV, rest in peace the Sedona, and then the Carnival came out. It's their new van. I know Kia doesn't like to call it that, but what was the Sedona, now the Carnival. Doing great. All-electric EV6, Sportage, all of them combined. ICE, HEV, and plug-in hybrid. Telluride, K4, Forte set new records up to 45, 46, 28, 31, and 12% respectively. And this is huge because the Telluride is still solidifying. Hey, I'm the top dog. The Carnival, in a time when people aren't really buying many vans, they're still buying them, but not as many. Most people are buying 7-row, SUVs, 7-seaters. Carnival's doing good. It's growing. EV6, full electric, growing. Sportage, growing in all configurations. ICE and plug-in hybrid and even regular hybrid. Telluride, growing. K4 replacement to the Forte. This is something that we were very worried about when Kia came out with the K4. The Forte was a very, very small, affordable car, and it was really nice for what it offered. The K4 is setting a record, so something, the entry-level model for Kia, this is very big for affordability to bring in young buyers, even just bring in, buyers into the showroom, bring them into the brand. Something that's competing with like a Civic or a Jetta GLI, or not a Jetta GLI, but a regular Jetta, up. And this is all compared to over the same time last year. This is huge. Kia, with the remarkable milestone, recording 20% year-over-year increase in retail sales. excluding fleet sales, for the second consecutive month, setting a new record for November sales. SUVs and electrified models accounted for 75% and 16% of Kia's overall November total sales. So, what this shows is, just like with Hyundai, Kia has a very diverse portfolio. People are very interested in the portfolio. Now, we can see, obviously, what is dominating the sales. But that shows that, just like with Hyundai, people want Kia. A lot of times with dealers, maybe one, two, or maybe three models at most of your sellers. So a lot of times with dealers, when a car buyer comes in, you really have to convince them, whether just with emotion of the car or even with price, really the emotion, like, hey, buy this car versus another car and buy from us. With Kia, people already have the emotion down. People are already wanting Kias. At this point, it becomes easy for the dealer, and it's actually better to put the dealer in this situation, because now it puts them in a dilemma, because 9 out of 10 times when somebody walks to a Kia or a Hyundai dealership, they're walking out with a Kia or a Hyundai. Now you just got to try to sell them either the one they want, or you just got to try to upsell them what you think they want. So this is really, really strong numbers for Kia and Hyundai. I mean, let's look at the numbers here. Let's look at them month to month, and let's look at them year to date. So EV9. It was pretty new when it came out last year. Only sold 5 in 2023. Only sold 5 in the month of November. We see here an increase. 2,155 in the month of November 2024. 20,066 units year to date in 2024 versus 5 in 2023. Now, obviously, that's not really a fair number to compare just because of how new it was. But we have to still analyze it, and there's no other way to analyze it other than that's a huge increase. Let's go month to month again. EV6 grew from 1,290 units to almost 1,900 units, 1,887 units in the month of November, an increase there. Even year to date, Kia is showing that they're full EVs. People want them. There is interest. A little bit over 17,500 units last year, closing in on close to 20,000 units at 19,604 units this year. Rest in peace, the Rio. We're not really going to, analyze that too much. Obviously, as, that car is, sadly, obviously, it's gone, and it kind of sucks because last year they sold 25,000, obviously this year they're just kind of selling off the excess inventory. No sales in the month of November, so, and sadly, that's gone. K4. This is a replacement of the Forte. K4/Forte. Up from almost 10,000 units in the month of November last year to 11,005 units this year. That's a pretty good jump month to month. On a car like this, though, where it's affordability, the overall volume sale matters, though. This is where kind of year-to-date sale matters. A lot of times with month to month, it's really good to analyze and forecast like where people feel with this model, how it feels like emotion wise, and really what direction and how people feel about the brand. But when it's an affordable model like this is just something like, hey, listen, I just need the most affordable car. I don't care what it is. This is something where you don't need to worry about like month to month sales. You just need to worry about year to year, because this car is purely here to sell volume. It's not here to impress anyone, and we've got good volume sales. 114,000 almost 115,000 last year, closing in on 127,867 units this year. Huge for their most affordable model that got way better and grew in price a little bit. We were all wondering how it was going to turn out, and it's pretty strong right now. The K5, strong. Now, year-to-date sales are down because we have seen with the K5, there have been some production issues. There have been. And so I think for the year-to-date sales, because we see quite a drop here, even the last year in the month of November, they sold 5,112. This year, 6,378. We see year-to-date, they're down almost 20,000 units. 59,906 last year, 2023 for the year. 40,672 for this year in 2024. It's still not bad, but that's down 20,000 units. And I know that with the K5 there was production issues. I think maybe, some of the demand as well, just with the sedans, kind of, SUVs getting more demand, that has to play into it. But we know there's production issues, and clearly those production issues on the K5 costed Kia quite a lot, because I remember trying to find a K5 and I couldn't find one. That's down almost 20,000 units. So definitely kind of a concern there for the K5. Definitely would like to see next year kind of what happens with that, as the model has now been refreshed. I know it kind of was refreshed at a very weird time, so that also kind of played into the issues. So I'd really like to see what happens with the model again next year when we do this, because if those numbers are similar, there is some discrepancy there with the production issues and the refresh, but 20,000 units is a little bit more than a discrepancy. So there is a little bit of cause for concern right here, especially as this is like, you can sort of say an entry level to mid-range model. The Stinger, one of my favorite cars. I couldn't afford this car, but I test drove it. Man, was it a good car. Now, they haven't sold any in 2024, and they haven't sold any in November, because this car, it's been discontinued. And hopefully maybe we see another Stinger one day. I'd love to see Kia do another one, but cool car. It's dead though. We're not going to worry about it. The Soul, this one as well here, a little bit of cause for concern, because we're up 500 units for month to month. 3,601 units in 2023, 4,031 units for this month of 2024 and 24. Not bad, but not a lot of growth, but we're still down. Year to date last year, 57,864. This year, 48,747. It's a lot of units we're down. So, it is selling more than the K5, and it's selling more than actually quite a few vehicles on this list here, but a little bit of cause for concern on the Soul there, and that's not the first time we've seen these numbers down on the Soul. So a little bit of cause for concern there. Definitely the Soul is not looking that great. Even the Niro as well. Niro is down not only year to date, but month to month. Last year the Niro sold a little bit over 2,300 units. This year they're barely over 1,500 units. They're 1,624. Year to date last year, they were at close to 34,000 units. This year, we're not even cracking 30. We're at 302. This is, definitely the Niro. I mean, those numbers are close, but some cause for concern for the Niro. Now, luckily, even though it has gone down, it is still selling better than a lot of vehicles on the list, and it is still selling better than a lot of vehicles from other automakers in general. So you can kind of say, well, yeah, it's still going down, but the Kia is still doing good, because brands like Acura and all that are selling even worse. So, there's two sides to this, but a little bit of cause for concern there. The Seltos, though, very interesting with the Seltos here. It just looks like the Seltos didn't have really that great of a month this year. Last year they had a little bit over 4,000 units, about a little bit over 4,200 and change. This year the Seltos for the month of 24 has 3,778 units, but they are up year to date. 55,628 last year. This year, 56,221 units. So the Seltos is doing really, really good, strong sales. I think maybe the month of November, just this year wasn't the one, but still up over, year to date. So some nice growth there, pretty consistent numbers there, which is really good. The Sportage, this is huge. I mean, now we're, this is kind of like a big boy right here. Last year, a little bit over 11,000 units in the month of November. This year, for a little bit over 14,000 units. And year to date, almost 130,000 units this year. Year to date, they're already at 146,000 units. Almost 140, close to 147,000 units. I wouldn't be surprised this year if, by the end of December, I see them at close to 160. Really, really strong sales for the Sportage here. I mean, really, really strong. This is a big boy number right here. The Sorento, strong sales as well. you know, month to month last year, almost 7,000 units. This year, we're at 8,705, so almost 9,000 units, some solid growth there. Even year to date, almost 81,000 units last year. This year, we're close to 86,000. The year's not even over, so I wouldn't be surprised to see by the end of this year, probably the Seltos into like the 90,000 marker. 95 would probably be a little bit too generous, but I could definitely see them at like 92 by the end of the year. The Telluride, big one. This one always grows. I don't think I've ever seen a month or a year with the Telluride down. Almost 9,000 last year in the month of November. This year, 11,500 units and change. By the end of the year, last year they're at over 100,000 units. This year we're at 103,000. I wouldn't be surprised to see them, see it probably go up another 10, maybe even 12,000 units if they have a really good month in December. And then the Carnival. This is a replacement of the Sedona, replacement of the van. 3,404 units last year, month of November. This year, 4,925 units in the month of November. Really, really solid sales there. Year to date, they're up about 4,000 from last year, 44,561. Year's not even over. Looking at the numbers, this year was a good month. They didn't sell 5,000, but they got close to it. I think maybe they could end, if they're lucky, I think if they have a good month, they might be able to end it off with 50,000 units. That would be kind of a stretch. But I definitely could see them ending with 48 easily. I think that would be a really good sales figure for them. If they can do 50, I think they would go above and beyond. But 48 is still a strong number, and we look at the end numbers. Last year in the month of November, 2023, Kia sold 58,338 vehicles. This year in the month of November, 2024, 70,107 vehicles. So even though we had some models that went down, they still sold pretty well compared to other vehicles and other automakers in general, which is still crazy to think. Huge, huge growths. Year to date, the year's not even over. Kia's up about 1,000 from where they were last year, at 722,176 vehicles, 723,185 vehicles. The year is not even over, though. I would say, looking at the month of November sales, Kia sold 70,000 units. Kia could very easily get to 800,000 this year in December with their sales. Now, I think if Kia does at least like 780, it's a solid number. But I could, if they have a really, really good month, I could see them at 800,000. Even 82 or 802,000 would be kind of a stretch in my opinion. But easily, I think Kia should do 780. Or not 780, but I think Kia could easily they could push out another 50 to 60. If they can do 70 again, that would be really, really good, or even more. But easily they should be able to do 50 to 60. That should be a no-brainer for them. And this just shows that Kia Hyundai, like I said in the last video, every sector they're killing it. EVs, ICE, electrification, enthusiast models. When people are going into a Kia Hyundai dealership, 9 out of 10 times they're walking out with a Kia Hyundai. And that's where the dealers get to have fun, like I said, because the dealers get to do two things. You either get to sell them what they want or what you think they want, and you can play with them a little bit and upsell. Because like I said, Kia and Hyundai have already done the hard work. People are interested in the vehicles. They like the vehicles. All the dealers got to do is just help them pick one. Tell them where to sign on the dotted line. Make sure the paperwork's filed correctly. And let them walk out. That's all the dealers have to do. So if you're a Kia Hyundai dealer, you've probably been doing this for a while, but you are swimming right now. This is the best. This last decade or two, especially this last decade going on, has just really been, you've never made more money than now. You just haven't. You just really haven't. And this just shows overall strong sales. And, I ended the last video with this. with a new administration coming in, things are going to change. We know that there's going to be changes with EVs in terms of the transition process. We know with tax credits, they're talking about changing them, even probably getting rid of them. There's going to be some big changes, and we're seeing a lot of legacy automakers struggle, some even potentially on the verge of going. So, the automotive industry is really quite fragile right now. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to see next year what happens. A lot of bad things, though, can happen by losing an automaker. But one thing for certain is that with numbers like this, Kia and Hyundai are not going anywhere. If anything, they're going to be able to withstand whatever storm comes at them comfortably. And like I said in the last video, they might even thrive off of it. So that's going to do it for now. Let me know what you guys think down below, whether you are a Kia Hyundai owner, whether you're a potential owner looking to buy one this month or in the future. Let me know what you think of these numbers. Let me know what you think of the brand and what model you're looking at. That's going to do it for now, though. Like always, thanks for watching, everyone.